History is the key to unlocking the mysteries of a haunt.
That is cool. And that's the original. That's all this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Join us on our journey as we get to the bottom of the truth and real history of these locations. You are watching Haunted History of the Paranormal. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight we are on location in Springfield, Illinois, getting ready to go into the historical Hickox House. We're going to be speaking with Dave as he tells us all about the stories and the history of the location. We are inside the Hickox House with Dave and Trish from CAPS. How are you guys doing tonight?
Well, good, thank you. It's good to have you here.
Good. Thank you so much for having us in here. Now, we've talked a little bit about the history through email for the past couple months. Why don't you go ahead and give us a baseline start of what the Hickox House is?
Okay, this is the oldest residential house in central downtown Springfield area. It was built in 1839 by Virgil Hickox, who was very influential as Springfield native. Well, not native, he was from New Jersey, I believe. But anyway, he was a banker, store owner, member of the Chicago Walton Railroad. So he had a very influential Springfield native. But he built this originally in 1839.
And he was also, while doing my research, I read he was allies with Stephen Douglas.
Yes, he was. He was actually his campaign manager
during
the 1858-59 election. They say Stephen Douglas would spend the night here regularly. They were very good friends.
Oh,
so him and Abraham Lincoln got along really well. They worked together. Chicago Walton Railroad. Lincoln was the attorney for the railroad,
right?
Where Virgil Hickox was the regional manager for the railroad. So they got along really
mutual
well.
Between
yeah, they got. Matter of fact, Lincoln, Illinois is named Lincoln because of Virgil Hickox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they platted that land from the railroad, gave that land, and they were at the christening, and they decided to call it Lincoln while they're at Lincoln Herndon offices.
Oh, that's neat.
Lincoln left a blank and said, what should we call the town? And Virgil Hickox said, call it Lincoln, and that's how it got its name.
Oh, that's really neat. Just some more of the facts that you learn here on HHP. All right, so let's talk more about this location, the Hickox House. Do you want to go into what it has been over the years?
Sure. Virgil Hickox lived here himself 1839 to 1880, which is remarkable for the 1800s to live in one location, even live that long. He died in 1880. He was like 82, I believe. But
he just passed away from old age.
Yeah, he had 10 kids. 4 died early age. 2, Virgil Jr., and I can't remember the other one. They don't know all their names. Died within 3 days of each other in the 1840s. So they kept expanding the house. It started out a little 20 by 20 house near the back where he had his general store. That's how he got started. And they added on and added on. Then by 1880, I think 1871, they put the upstairs up. And that was the last addition. So the house is pretty much like it was by 1871.
10 kids.
Yeah. So 4 died early, and we're not sure about a couple of the names of the ones that passed away, but yeah.
Do you think that they died in the residence? Because back in the day, you know, whenever you got sick with anything, you were bedridden and usually passed at your home.
Yeah, the information's a little sketchy on that, but yeah, we're pretty sure they just have sadly a little small tombstone area out the Oak Ridge Cemetery. There's not a lot of information about it out there.
Right. So in 1880, Virgil Hickox passed away, and then what became of the house?
The next thing we know, in 1895, it became the Sangamo Club, Springfield's first and only men's only private business dinner club.
Kind of like the Eagles?
Yeah, it was a men only. Businessmen, politicians were involved as a dinner club, and so we think maybe some of the activity comes from that era. We don't know. Harrison Hickox, one of his sons, was a member, so this is the very first place. So Sangamo Club still exists, Sangamo Club.
Oh, wow.
But this was his first home, 1895 to 1910, before it moved locations.
And then what happened after that?
1915, it became a funeral parlor. Right during the flu epidemic of 1918, 1919, it was a funeral parlor till I believe 1926. And they say it was open 24/7, trying to keep the bodies. You can see outside in the western parking lot over here, where you got the park, there's some oversized doors where they would roll the bodies in. They would do the body work downstairs. Up here is kind of showing area and everything where they bring the caskets in. Upstairs, the coroner Branson actually lived.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people say he's still here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, him and his assistant.
I hope there's no formaldehyde anywhere around here. Okay, and then during Prohibition, the house was the lower part of the house was a speakeasy?
Shortly, yeah, the basement's been there from the beginning, but it's
Right.
expanded as the house did. It's now the English basement. But yes, for a short period of time, a few months, it was a speakeasy, and then of course Prohibition ended shortly after, a few months after that. And Hoop Francis took over. It was a bar. He had one of the first liquor licenses, and that was till I think 1937. And then Norbert Anderson took over, and it's been Norb Andy's ever since.
Right, and that's just right downstairs. We saw that as we came in. So this house, for one, has been here since 1839.
Yes.
Which is really impressive. And we are in the historic district of our capital, the state capital, Springfield, Illinois. So, I mean, that's really neat that, as all these other buildings came back up, it didn't come down. But it's also on the historical society?
Yes, the owners in the 1980s, the name escapes me, I don't know them. Dave, the current owner, bought this like 2-3 years ago, I guess. But yeah, they put it on the National Historic Site. So they did some work and stuff, but any work they did, they made sure it stuck to the era, any outside work. They say the bricks and stuff were actually done when they built the house in the back. And so when they redid any bricks or mortar, they made sure they kept it as close to the time period as they could. So it's been on National Historic Registry since 1980s. Yes.
So that kind of preserves and saves it.
Yes.
And it's actually a very beautiful building. We're going to be taking a tour here in a few minutes, but I want to talk about a couple more things. You really interest me as a person because not only are you passionate about the paranormal field, you're a teacher and you've brought it to the high school that you're at as an extracurricular activity. So if you wanted to talk about that or anything, what made you want to bring it to the kids?
Well, we're always looking, we're kind of a lower achieving school, and I think we line for high school here in town. We did have the top games last year, but we're always looking for things. I was kind of nervous about asking the principal if I could start a paranormal club, but I would talk to the kids, and the kids, there's always something they were really interested in. One day they're like, well, we should start a club, and I'm like, well, you guys get a petition up, and I'll tell the principal, that I'll be the sponsor. And finally, the principal came in one day, and I ran it by him. He goes, yeah, sure, just write up something. So I'm shocked that the school supported, because a lot of people in the community are kind of that's a little bit odd and stuff.
It's a very historical community, though, and I personally really believe that a lot of the shows that have been on TV and that have come up have really opened the doors for us as paranormal investigators. Because, without their work and going to locations, people would still be kind of hush-hush, kind of tongue-in-cheek about it. Yeah, I just saw somebody walk across there, but I don't want you to know because you'll think I'm crazy.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's a kind of a ground for the students because a lot of them have stuff. They live in older houses.
Right.
And they've had a lot of activity, and we got interested through the shows like you're talking about.
Right.
Otherwise, we've only been doing this a couple of years, so we haven't been doing it that long. So, but we make the kids do the research on the place, and they write reports after they investigate. They'll speak of their experiences. They have to go through their own evidence.
So you're teaching them the right way.
Yeah, and they, they work together. It's amazing to see them together. It's like, who are you? And they introduce each other, and they go out and work together as a team. It's real interesting. Yeah.
They're great investigators.
Yeah,
They're
they
really
do a good
serious.
job.
And
they really are for 13-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids.
Right, that's what they need, especially in that age. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and the transition from 8th grade to high school is a really tough transition.
Exactly.
And just something to where I'm interested in that. I watch those shows, and to be able to do it too. I mean, personally for me and probably the rest of my crew, thank you for doing that, because it takes a very special person to be a teacher, and that's just it really touched me. I'm like, that is the coolest thing in the whole entire
Trish is
world.
with me on every investigation. Now, actually, the girls really kind of cling to Trish. They'll come up to her during a tea party we were having for Alice the other day when there's a couple of my students were here, and they just said investigate. They just wanted to sit and tell Trish some stuff and talk to Trish.
They just need someone to talk to a lot of times,
Yeah.
Right,
And somebody different than their parents. Just
right,
to
girls
relate
at that
to.
age, you need it.
Exactly. So it's a good thing. It really is.
So let's go ahead and get on to some of the spirits that are here. You were speaking of Alice. Trish, you have a really good story about Alice, don't you?
Right. We think Alice is a little 10-year-old little girl that's here. I was in the building one night in the library. It's really my favorite room in the house. A friend of mine, Vicki, and I were in here till 5 in the morning. We were in the library and we were bragging, the guys don't know we're here. They're going to be so proud of us. We're here all by ourselves investigating. And all of a sudden, the library door slammed, and I mean that door slammed shut loud. I said a few choice words, and it just vibrated. It kind of scared us both. So when we got home the next day, we're listening to the evidence, or I should say Vicki is, listening to the evidence, and we hear a cute little voice say, "Let's scare them, want to?" 2 minutes later, that door slammed shut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're thinking maybe it was Alice just trying to get our attention.
Right.
She
And
got our
she could be
attention.
drawn to you, too, because she sees you with all these other girls
Yes.
from the group
Yes.
and everything. And I have found in my experiences at places, especially where there's little kids, they are more so drawn to women.
I think so. And we've left her candy before, and we had a cute little boy on
Yeah.
the recorder. Almost made Dave cry. It's so sweet. It said, "Thank you." I said, "I'm leaving you some candy,
Yeah.
Alice," and it said, "Thank you."
Aw.
It's the sweetest
Yeah,
little
it
voice.
really is. Yeah.
Aw.
I had a voice when I was in there by myself says, "We see you."
Oh,
It's
wow.
very clear, yeah.
Well,
Lots of
hopefully we can
voices.
make some contact with
I'm
Alice
hoping
tonight.
to.
Now, there's other... You want to talk about some of the other entities that are here?
You know, there's some people say there's a portal down the hallway, and I'm not sure about that. I'm not very sensitive. I don't know a whole lot about those kinds of things, but there's always been the rumor, and we think it's true. It's probably a dominant male, whether it's the one we've caught in photographs. We've gotten, several
Kind
photographs.
of the bully of the house.
Yeah, we don't nothing evil or
No
anything
evil, no
like that.
demonic.
Everyone loves to scream evil, demon,
Right.
demon.
Exactly.
But there's nothing like
Right.
that at all. But someone just kind of dominating, and when we investigate, we get more male voices than anything else. We don't know name. The kids have nicknamed him Thomas. You know how that goes. Someone's
Right.
doing a session with the rods, and they pick up, oh, it's Thomas, and then it's gospel. Everybody says that's who it is.
It is Thomas
Yes,
now.
Thomas the
Well,
bully.
we did have an interesting story though in the spirit box. I don't know if you do much spirit box,
We
but
try to do at least one at each
Yeah.
location. We don't put everything onto it because we
Exactly.
like more
Right.
of the old school, straight
Right.
out EVPs.
Me too.
But it
Me
is
too.
fun
Exactly.
to, we don't want to overuse it, but it's
Right.
fun to use it at least once at a location.
yeah. So I was upstairs and I asked, "Who's the bully? What's your real name?" And about 10 seconds later, a voice comes back and says, "Butch." Couldn't be any clearer. I'm like, "Oh, come on, that's so stereotypical,
Butch the
Butch.
bully,
Can't you do better than that?"
exactly.
So about 3 minutes later, I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to shut the box off. Is there anything anyone wants to say?" And then another voice comes through and says, "Stop, Butch." I'm like, "Wow, that's weird." I mean, Butch twice. It's so
Right.
clear, and we always kind of thought he was probably a bully of the other spirits too, dominant. Sometimes they'll disappear when he's around. And then we had a psychic lady came in. Trish didn't know. You want to tell her?
Right. We had a Halloween party here, and she was a medium, and she came in and she told me later, she said, "By the way, I want to tell you the bully of the house is no longer here." The lady had never ever been in this
But she
house
said his
before.
name.
Right. She said, and I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" She's like, "I feel the bully is gone," and his name. I said, "What was his name?" She said, "Butch."
That's crazy.
And I'm like,
Right.
"Really?"
Yeah.
You're like,
Wow. I said, "Well, that's good to know." And
Yeah.
she said, "And Butch came with someone." So we're thinking.
so it was somebody maybe
Somebody
on a tour.
Yeah, on a tour. We had a lot of people in with the tour
So,
during the
yeah.
Halloween season, and she said, "He's gone." I just want to tell you that.
So it's not the resident
like
one.
I said, the lady had never ever been in this house before. She
And
just-
that's,
yeah.
that's
So
just
I don't know.
crazy.
That's
It's
spirit.
crazy.
Well, we were doing spirit box in here, and a little kid's voice came. It wasn't from the spirit box. It came out over top of the spirit box. Said something like, "I don't know what to do."
Oh, it's so.
It
cute.
wasn't even out of the spirit. It came from over the top. It's weird. Yeah.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
craziest thing is we have a student that sings. She has a beautiful voice, and she always sings to Alice. She sings out of one of the books in there, and it's a lullaby song. Every time she comes, she sings. Well, Dave and her and I were the only ones in this room during the spirit box. And Dave said, "I'm getting ready to shut it off if anyone wants to say anything." But we didn't hear anything, so we shut it off. She went into the library with her dad, and she started singing the song she always sings. Dave and I are listening back to the recording of the spirit box. There's a little voice on there humming this song that she is singing 5 minutes
wow.
later.
Before she ever went
I'm getting
into singing.
goosebumps right now thinking about this. I am
Wow.
not
No,
kidding.
yeah, it's crazy.
That is nuts.
We did not hear it on the spirit box, but it was on a report.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dying to get going.
right.
No pun intended. We're going to go ahead and take a tour. Dave and Trish is going to give us a quick tour of the location. And then, of course, Matt, Missy, and I are going to go lights out and
right.
do a little investigation ourselves.
Good deal.
Stay tuned. You want to go ahead and show us around some of the hot spots?
We call this the library area.
My favorite room.
We know in the 1980s, 1990s, I think it was some little shops and stuff. That's why you see some of these racks and stuff. These books weren't originally in the house, but there's some old books in the 1890s and 1900s. I'm looking at some, being a teacher, some old textbooks. I'm like, I don't even know what that subject is. It seemed like things were kind of harder back then, some of these 3rd and 4th grade subjects. But we've had a lot of activity. We've got some great photographs out of this room. Trish has a bright, bright blue. We're not real orb people, but this is bright, just pure blue energy, it looks like here. We've got a picture, it looks like a male. You can see his head, and you can see his hand grabbing the doorway. In this doorway, he'd be about 5'4". I've got a picture of a head and shoulders up here, which would be 8 or 9 feet. Really, really clear pictures. One night we were in here, my students were in here, the door was shut, and they heard a bang, and they looked in the doorway, and there was that face print. Looks like a little girl right there in the middle pane, and we have the picture. So now, you know, whether it was there or not, I don't know. I questioned them, of course, but you know, they said they heard the bang, and it was there. It's so phenomenal. So we get a lot of activity, and we've had a lot of people. Just most people really love this room.
And this was where you had the spirit box thing that you were talking about in the other room with the girl singing, right, Trish?
Right. Right, and this is the door that slammed on me that night, and then we had a little voice said, "Want to scare them?" or "Let's scare them."
Yeah,
this door slammed first, and then when we got home, we listened to the recording, and we had that little voice. So, and it just didn't, shut. It slammed. It slammed, and it just vibrated.
Wow.
And we weren't near the door, standing near the door, like one of us, accidentally kicked it or something.
Right.
So
let's head on to the next room.
Again, this whole area here would have been where they did the showing during the funeral parlor years in the 1915 to 1926 era. This was here. All this would have been here by 1871.
So all the woodwork is original?
Yeah, and what they redid, they tried to do it by at least in the early 1900s, but a lot of the stuff is original. Every room almost has a fireplace. You can see the beautiful fireplaces.
I love the wallpaper in this room. I think it's so pretty.
We hear a lot of noises coming. I'll show you when we go back to the storage area where we seem to get a lot of shadow figures back there. But we've had. I was in here one night investigating, and we were knocking, and they knocked back for us. I got probably 4 or 5 really good EVPs in here one night, just in a half hour, speaking right back to us directly. So, a lot of people don't investigate this area down here. They just go directly upstairs. So we think this area is just it's a house. They get around. Right. I don't think there's one really hot spot. I think they pretty much hang out where they want to. But
we did have one of these cabinet doors open one night. Remember that?
Yeah.
The top cabinet door came open, and it was closed completely. So
that lamp was sitting there, and my student walked by, and it got knocked over and hit her. But I don't know. How that goes. But it seemed to be sitting there with her. I don't know if that's true, but she got pretty good EVP that night. We'll go back there. This is what some call it a portal. I don't know much about that kind of thing. I've sat here at 3 o'clock in the morning with headphones on and K2 meters, and but we've heard this from several mediums and psychics. This kind of a portal. Spirits come and go through here, this area.
This is where we had someone, they were doing the rods, and the other girl standing next to her hair was moving like a spirit was playing with her hair right here in the portal. Yeah, we do have a video. That was pretty cool.
Clearly being played with. Yes.
Yeah. That was 2 young girls, and it was in like 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Wow. Move back. A lot of people do not like this area back here.
Yeah. A couple students told me that Saturday. They're like, "Do not go in this area." I'm good.
I will say I had probably other than being scared out of here a couple times, I was standing at the doorway with three people a few weeks ago, and we get a lot of shadow activity. And of course, if you're standing in front of that light and you move a little bit, it's going to cause a shadow. We've had a lot of people. We were upstairs one night, and it looked like a shadow walked through a closed door. We had people say this door here is open, but I was standing with 3 people, and I walked down here. We all saw the shadow. I looked down. They hadn't moved, so I got down here a few feet away, and I turned around and told them, "Never mind, there's somebody back here." I don't know if I was hearing them or feeling, but I turned around and said, "Never mind, somebody was back here." So when I got to the end of the hallway, I was amazed that there was nobody down here at all. Wow. And I, in retrospect, I can't say why I felt that way, if I heard them or something, but that was one of the crazier things that's happened to me here. So there's a lot of, you've got to be careful walking around here. I think there's some interesting doors in the ceiling here, but Back in the 80s, when this was empty from 1965 to 1980, this building was totally empty. Then the people who put on National Historic Society registry, they came in, but there were some artsy kind of groups and stuff in here, so we think they just kind of put that in. Another one. We have gotten our only 2 red orbs back here. I don't know, a lot of people don't like the area. Now this was actually, this is the original walls over here, over the house was here. This was a porch that, this part, and you'll see the same thing upstairs, this was added on, I think in 1980s. The porch was filled in, the outside porch. So this is a newer addition here. We've heard a lot of strange things over here. Yeah, we got a weird picture of that metal robot there. The art people used to come in here and have once a month art fairs and stuff. Ready to go up?
I know it's
There's a lot of stuff up here. Be forewarned.
I love this staircase. I think it's beautiful.
We'll start back here and get this over with. There's a second bathroom here. This room doesn't look like much. Back in the 80s, there was some advertising. There's some advertising, a couple of advertising firms here, so they used to do some radio broadcast advertises in here.
Oh, cool.
Had a lot of weird stuff in here, though.
Supposed to be a soundproof room.
People have been touched, and my
I have to touch everything. I'm like a little kid.
my millimeter went up to 90 in here.
Oh, wow.
You know how those are. It should be at 0.5, 1 or 2. I thought it was broke. It was at an 80 and 90 in here.
Wow.
We had people touched.
Like this room, and somebody always gets touched in this
Jamie,
area.
just Saturday, right?
Yes,
We had
Saturday.
somebody say.
She got
We'll
touched.
put Matt in there.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
This part would have been added on later also, like in the 1980s back here. So. Originally, down below, he had a store in 1834. He opened up a store, and that was his. Virgil Hickox was a store downstairs, and then they started adding on the house. But there's a lot of stuff in here. And if you go around here, the elevator doesn't work. That actually does go all the way down to the bar.
Kind of creeps people out sometimes. Yeah.
I'm easily
When
used.
the lights are on downstairs, yeah.
Just be careful. We had a couple people investigating up here. We weren't here a few weeks ago, and they got a really good EVP. It says "Watch walking through here." So I guess it's a helpful spirit. We just kind of use this as a cap's office. I don't spend any late nights up here working by myself. That's, I can tell you that. We got a lot of our pictures and stuff here that we've taken from the place. So
We kind of think this used to be Alice's room because we always
Yeah.
get Alice. Alice visits us in this room. So we're not sure if this used to be her bedroom, a playroom, but Alice always comes to this room, it seems like. So try to communicate with Alice tonight in this room.
Perfect.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, me and my sister were up
always-
here like 2:30 in the morning by ourselves, and my sister said, "Oh my God, I'm sitting right there." And she said, "Oh my God, I think there's just a little shadow walk behind you." Well, when I listened to the EVPs that night, there was a little child right before she said that. This would have been a big part of the Sangamo Club. You can see there's cards. They say that Hickox like to play cards and stuff too, but I don't know. There's some cards, but the Sangamo Club would have been these next 3 rooms. I think the men would come up here and play cards and
Smoke cigars.
Yeah, exactly.
smoke cigars. Matter of fact, Larry Wilson's pretty well known. He's written a couple books and urban
That scared me.
paranormal, documentarian. He was up here and they were simulating a card game one night, and I've heard the EVP. It's
Oh,
like
that's
22-second clip of a female singing "Mama Told Me So."
Wow.
Yeah, it's just fun. It goes on and on.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the couch the girl got scratched. We got that picture. It looks like a spirit on the couch
Like
right
somebody
there.
drew it in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy looks like the big guy in here.
This is a popular room. People
The
investigate
blue
this room.
orb on Trish just showed up. Right,
Right.
blue orb was taken right in here recently. Yeah.
This is the couch.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is it.
you have to sit on this couch.
Gotta sit on the couch.
Yeah, right there in the middle. And that's right there where the girl got scratched with the same
And
spot.
we checked the couch. There's nothing, you know.
No, I tried to
sticking
scratch
out,
myself after that happened to the girl. It's the same
Nothing.
exact spot though. We've got that. Looks like the image of
I
that
know.
spirit there. Yeah. So yeah, this everyone likes it. It's
Everyone
warm in
likes
here
this
tonight.
room. I think it's just a comfy
Except
room.
for, like,
Everybody
Garrett.
feels comfortable in here.
You know, Garrett, yeah, he can't come. He gets headaches, and Trisha's.
But
headaches.
sometimes I get headaches in this room and I have to leave this room, and then I'm fine once I leave.
I've been spinning since we walked in.
Really? The whole upstairs, or just
That
in
room,
that room?
house.
that room
Wow.
does feel different. It's got a different feel to it.
Wait till you find this room. A lot of people will not walk in this room at all. They cannot walk in
This is like my
this
favorite
room.
room to investigate, but I get out of breath in this room. First time we ever did investigation, we had some females come top the staircase. Could not come into these rooms. They did not like these
She did
rooms.
not come in. She's like, I cannot go in that
No.
room.
I
She was
heard.
scared.
I've heard voices in this room, and I've caught them. My twin brother's here from Texas a couple months ago, and we were up here. I'm like, man, did you hear that noise? He goes, no. I'm like, you didn't hear it sound like, rah. Well, I got the recording. It sounds exactly what I said. I think it's a male voice that says, hey. But I heard it like perfectly. So yeah, we had a psychic. She doesn't say she is the medium, and she said we were sitting in here, and she said, oh my God, it's the coolest thing I ever saw. I saw a male's face up here. I'm like, you see him all the time. She goes, no, what I see is like through a white veil or something. This is like a full-fledged face right there.
We had the medium sitting in this chair a couple weeks ago, and she felt like Alice was on her lap and tugging on her arm. So I don't know. She loved this room. She didn't leave this room.
We're gonna go ahead and get everything ready, go lights out, and we're gonna hunt.
We begun our investigation on the second floor.
We are in the CAP's office. I'm gonna set my recorder on the table. And they say this is where Alice is, right? There, they think this was
They
Alice's
think this
room.
was her room or her play area or
I'm
something.
gonna sit in the chair here. Is there anybody in here with us?
Is there a little girl in here? If there is someone in here, we have a K2 meter here. It's got the green light on it. If you come near it, it'll light up like a rainbow. Will you come near it, please, so we know for sure you're here?
Give me your flashlight. Matt walking around. I swear I saw a shadow as soon as he came over. What was that?
Matt.
That was me. It's making me jumpy. So they say Alice is supposed to be a little girl. Virgil was the person who built the house. Oh, my camera just went off. It scared me.
You are jumpy tonight, aren't you?
This place, I feel really, really weird in this
I'm
place.
almost dizzy in here, seriously.
It does have a weird feel to
I
it.
mean,
You're
it's-
like dizzy
there's-
or like
I
Downstairs, but not up
it's like
here.
a fun house
I
effect or
keep-
something here.
I
Do you
keep
feel
getting
it?
like hot flashes, like almost sweating.
Back there, I did through the.
I don't know. I'm just. It feels like a fun house to
Yeah,
me.
I was off tilt back there, but
Bobby's gonna sit on the couch, right?
Yep. K2 meters. It was kind of beeping. I'm gonna set it right there on the couch. Set my voice recorder over here.
it's Matt yawning.
Huh?
This picture's creepy.
Whoa, that just lit. That's light, Matt.
Hey, you wanna come sit on the couch with me?
It was on the second light.
Everybody's phones are gone, right?
I don't have mine on me.
Me neither.
Is there anybody in here with us? Back away a little bit from it, Matt.
Yeah.
I've never seen it do that before.
All right, we see you playing with it. Please back away. Can you get up from the couch for a second, please? Yeah. Even if it was a text message, it would just do it once.
Right.
It wouldn't keep going.
I heard it coming through the audio, the bump, 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 bump,
Right.
you know, but it's still going, so I don't know.
I don't really know.
Now it's dead.
It's just right there.
Look. I put my hand on it and it stopped doing the yellow. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't have my recorders over here. Can you make it go all the way to red? I've never seen a K2 meter continuously do that.
Yeah, it's even going down to like the first.
I'm gonna ignore you then. Because I don't think that's you. What is it about this couch? That's what I want to know.
Got a flashlight on you?
In the room next to the office, we experienced some unexplainable K2 activity. We are not claiming this activity to be paranormal, we just have no explanation for it.
What was that?
It was a pop. That's the second one I've heard over here. Did you just touch my back?
I'm right here.
I thought my backpack moved a little bit. That was weird.
Something just touched my back. Oh, I didn't mean to stop it.
Alright, I heard tapping earlier. Was it coming from here? And who are you? Can you tell me your name?
We're in another room. The room where the medium saw the face.
Can you tell us your name, please? All we want to do is talk to you. That's it. We're nice, friendly people. We're not here to provoke you, call you names, any of that ridiculous garbage. We just want to be nice and talk to you and treat you like you need to be treated. Like we would want to be treated. You treat us nice and we'll do the same for you. Like I said, we're not mean people.
Can you make that K2 meter do what you were doing in the other room?
Like that?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't doing anything until I
Look at that.
started to ask it about it. Do you like those lights? Can you back away from it? Thank you. Back away completely. And let it go for just a minute. Thank you so much. Now can you light it up again, please?
We have no cell phones on us. None
Nothing.
Of that. So we're trying to figure out
Why it's doing that.
yeah, what's going on here.
Okay, now back away.
I'm backing away.
All right. Thank you. Can you do what you did up to yellow? Like in the other room? You're almost there. One more light after that. There you go. Thank you so much. Is this Alice?
If it's Alice, can you light it all the way to red, please?
Are you Virgil? All right. Well, thank you for what you did with the K2 meter because it...
I just moved.
No. I saw a shadow about this tall go in front of the door. Go that way. About this tall.
So to your chest,
Yeah.
your breastbone.
You get my stuff. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you want Matt to go into the soundproof room?
I'm going in the soundproof room by myself, and I'm going to
see if I can get something to touch me, like they say happens, scratches or whatever. So I'm going to try to communicate, get something good. So wish me luck.
This is a first for HHP. While Matt was upstairs alone, Missy and I investigated the library.
Is there anybody in here with us that wishes to communicate? You can drop through this box and we'll be able to hear you.
So I heard rumors of a little girl named Alice that might still be hanging around here. Is that true? If so, how old are you? It is a little bit hard to breathe in here. I don't know if it's because of the ventilation, extra insulation or whatever, but it does feel a little strange.
That's a death.
That was a very deep voice. It was different.
It does feel like that there is a high electromagnetic field of some type in here.
Before we wrapped up our investigation, I wanted to go back upstairs to the room where we had the abnormal K2 activity earlier in the night.
Would appreciate it if you could maybe try to communicate with us through it. You give us some type of a name. That thing is loud. I heard about a little girl that could be here named Alice. Is that true? I'm in here to try to use this.
While sitting on the couch, you could definitely feel the temperature fluctuate in the room.
I feel it too. Bobby, you can chime in now if you want.
Is that you here now, or are you in here?
Did you just make the room colder? I'm freezing up here.
Are you making it cold in here, or are you drawing the energy out of here? Do you even know you're doing it? Taking the heat out of the room?
I mean, you can take the heat out. Go ahead, do whatever you need to do to talk to us. Yeah, it wasn't that cold in here earlier. Mine was still my nose.
You like this couch? Is there something that is a comfortable spot you like to stay in?
Can you say Missy?
It's so... Wow. It's so clear, it's almost like it's not even coming out of the box. Those speakers must be that good.
Missy.
So we've said our names. Can you tell us yours?
Do you want Matt and Bobby to get off the couch? Tell them to get off the couch.
At this time, Missy felt a presence that gave her a shocking personal experience.
What?
sleep on the couch tonight?
Okay. Here, can you take this camera? Film me for a little bit? Is it right up on me over? You stand over here and see if it's going to do it for you. Whoa.
Okay, I'm standing here now. Can you move a little bit?
Got like chills really bad.
Oh my gosh. Did you do that to me? Why did you do that? You want me to leave?
You won.
What'd I win? That's enough. Did you hear that? Alright. If you step away from the box, I'll turn it off and we'll get out
That
of
was
your
very
space.
loud.
I'll get out of your space, alright? Just step away from the box and I'll turn it off. Because you say that's enough, I
Can you
will
walk
turn
by
it
me?
off, and I will respect your
Did
wishes.
it walk by you?
Now, can you make the floor move? Come on. Antonio, you heard that like me.
He told us that's enough.
I heard that really clear.
Yeah, so we're done.
All right.
I respect.
That was a good one.
I
Well-
respect the wishes.
We'd like to thank you for your time, and if there's anything on the recorders, and a great spirit box session, and for letting us be in here.
That whatever it was up on me twice, and the just enough. That was enough for me to turn it off. Because, like I said, we respect. If the spirits don't want us somewhere, we respect that and we back off. Because that's what we do. We're not here to upset anybody. We're just here to gather evidence.
All right, in tonight's episode's Facebook Fan of the Week, or Twitter Fan of the Week, because we pulled it off of Facebook, it is Wendy Whitcomb. Wendy, you will be getting a bumper sticker from us and your shout out.
Walking into the Hickox house, I was overwhelmed with an intense feeling of deja vu. The feeling stuck with me most of the night. This is a location that I fell instantly in love with, and with just the personal experiences did not disappoint.
Something just touched my back. I saw a shadow about this tall go in front of the door.
Till next time, happy hunting.
Didn't end with that. Like I always do.
Don't break the camera. Still taking pictures, so just keep shooting me.
Can you do something to let us know that we're here?
That we're here?
That.
Can you
Ugh.